Hi there, this is Vicki Ronchetti with Show Dog Prep School. Today we're going to talk about stacking box alternatives. If you're familiar with my work, you know that I love stacking boxes. I do not use stacking boxes for grooming dogs and having them stand up there for long periods of time. I use them to teach foot placement, muscle memory for foot placement, stay, building duration so I can move further away from the dog. Those are all great uses for a stacking box. So in this case with my puppy Rook, I'm just working on him remembering to keep his front feet where I put them and his back feet where I put them. And the stacking box just gives the dog a little reminder. Even if the dog's only a few inches off the ground like this, it still works great. This is a nice handmade box that a friend made for me. And it's great if you have one. This one has 2 planks that are removable, so those pieces come off. The front one is fixed. And then it's got some no grip slip stickers on there so the dog's feet don't slide, and then Velcro to keep those planks in place. But if you don't have a stacking box, there's a lot of alternatives. This is a Kato board used for a lot of dog sports. It's just a placement board for a place for a dog to go place, like if they were going to their mat. But this can work really nicely too. Now, this isn't going to give the dog that specific reminder of where the feet go, but if you have a dog you've already been doing that with and they have a pretty good idea of foot placement and how to hold the position, something like this can be great. So you don't have to have the actual stacking box. You can modify it. You could use something like this. You can use an aerobic step. There's just lots of things you might have around the house that you could use. Even if the dog's only elevated a few inches off the ground like here, you could still work on stays. Just having that little bit of height will help remind the dog not to step forward. Now here I can pull off these pieces of the stacking box, so if I wanted to do this, I wouldn't have to make a whole stacking box. I would just need those 2 planks. And I could just use 2 little pieces of wood, a couple of, those are pretty thin pieces and they're fine. They've got that different texture on there, so it reminds the dog, and it's non-slippery, so they won't slide around on there. And with the top of the Kato board, that works really nicely. It almost just fits right on there and doesn't slide around. So if you don't want to make a whole box, but you have an aerobic step or some other platform, maybe a climb, you could also use that just with those planks. You can also use bricks or cinder blocks, or in this case, I had some leftover 4x4s from a project we did at home. So I just grabbed them and decided to use these as a stacking box. For my little dog here, Rook, who's probably only about 9 or 10 pounds, this actually works great for him. A bigger dog might kick them around a bit more. Not probably here, because I have this decomposed granite, which is like sand, so I can kind of shove it down in there. But if you had a really big dog, you might want to attach those to a bigger piece of wood to sort of make a base for it or a pedestal to prevent the dog from accidentally rolling it with their feet. But this can work great too. The idea is just having a couple of surfaces that remind the dog where to keep his feet so that he can learn not to step forward with his front feet or his back feet once you place him. And you want to make it fun. You don't want him to feel forced to get up there. You want him to be able to choose to get down if he wants to, and just keep it a fun game. And again, you could have anything around your house that may work for this. You could have, again, cinder blocks, bricks, a couple of cases of soda, with a piece of yoga mat on top. It really could be anything. The Kato board, even a platform, even an ottoman in your house. You just want to make sure that it's comfortable for their feet, that it's not too high, they're not scared of it, and it really helps with their stacking work and distance and duration.